Yo, yo, yo. It's your boy MF Crypto here, aka Quantstradamus, aka the Wife Changer, aka Secretariat. Once again. And as always, I'm on a mission to help you build generational wealth. Welcome back to the channel to my fellow subscribers, and for those of you who may be tuning in for the very first time, welcome in as well. Do yourselves a major favor if you haven't done so already, hit that subscribe button and click on the bell for notifications because I provide the single greatest quant network updates on all of YouTube. I promote winning crypto projects and networks on this channel. Nothing less shall suffice. You have stumbled upon the holy grail of crypto YouTube, home of the wife-changing digital assets. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. I'm out to change some wives here. So without any further ado, let's get right into today's video. Quant Network update. Central bank digital currencies are just on the horizon. Ladies and gentlemen, how many times have I told you that CBDCs are going to be ushered in the future, and they are putting in the work behind the scenes, the powers that be, and the banks, the central banks, the big conglomerates and power players of this world that control fiat currency are going to control the digital currency as well in the form of CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. Now, let's kick it off with a tweet here from my own official Twitter handle, @TheRealMFCrypto. For those who are doubters and say I don't practice what I preach, here is my weekly DCA, or dollar cost average, into Quant. It is the only asset I DCA into every week. Its future in this space is astronomical. Pay homage. You know what I'm saying? Pay daddy some homage. AKA Quantstradamus. Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't have to be $900. It could be $10, $20, $30, as low as $1, $2. I don't care. Whatever your budget works for you, and when you can put money towards this God token GOD asset, you need to take advantage and do so. This is the path to generational wealth, ladies and gentlemen. It's the entire reason for my channel, and I need you guys to understand this. It is why I come up on here and create this content and drop videos on an at least weekly basis, because I want you to know I care about each and every one of you. Now, let's slide over to Quant's daily price action, trading at 127.34, up 1.28% on the daily. From our last video, we are down about $5-6. Give a few pennies here and there. I've been telling you, and I've been warning you, that we will be bearish over the coming months. We've seen a nice little recovery here after trading below on the daily what we started at. In the red, we came up into the green and ran up as high as 129.49. Ladies and gentlemen, key levels that I am looking for, and I've been indicating it on my Twitter handle. So please check me out over on Twitter, because you can get the most up-to-date information about QNT and other crypto assets there. As I'm on the go, I am very busy, and I'm not always able to bring you this content at the exact moment that you might need it or want it. But I indicated that I am looking for Quant. If we lose 125, we can go directly down to the 110 level. If that 110 level is lost, that is a key level of support. 110, 100 as our psychological level. We lose 100, ladies and gentlemen, and we are going down to the $80 range. So I am looking for us to reclaim. Let's slide over to the monthly. I'm looking for us to reclaim up in this 140 range, $140 to $145 range, and then we could see that operate as overhead resistance. But we do not want to slip further than 125, 126 at the current moment. We do not want to see daily candle closes below that region. If we do, we are going to have further downside ahead of us in the very short term. Remember, I am very bearish. I am not ashamed of this. Quantstradamus will always give you the uncut raw, because he's always here to shepherd the flock. So, ladies and gentlemen, heed my warning. DCA is your best friend. Dollar cost average into assets over time. This is not financial advice, but it is what the best investors do to mitigate risk over the long run. Now, digital pound, busting the privacy myths. As I told you at the beginning of this video, we were going to be talking about central bank digital currencies, CBDCs, and this is Martin Hargreaves, Chief Product Officer at Quant, talking about the myths related to central bank digital currencies, and I wanted to bring this to your attention today. Since UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak advocated for a UK central bank digital currency while Chancellor back in October, Google searches for the term have soared. In tandem, the suggestion that CBDCs could be used as, quote, an instrument of state surveillance has also been gaining momentum, with the suspicion most notably included in a report from the House of Lords Economic Affairs Committee. The idea that a UK CBDC will be used to control citizens and compromise their privacy is a position which has also surfaced in the pages of the financial press in past weeks, as the Bank of England and UK Treasury launched their joint discussion paper, The Digital Pound, a New Form of Money for Households and Businesses. The 116-page document outlines the opportunities and challenges raised by this new monetary instrument, inviting businesses and the general public to respond by June 7th. How many times have I warned you on this very channel and on my Twitter account about the dangers of central bank digital currencies and why they are trying desperately to usher them in while we are in a complete state of global disarray and the economy is absolutely destroyed. We will go lower down, further down. The economy will get absolutely obliterated. And that is what they will utilize as their opportunity. They are opportunists. They will seize that opportunity because they created it themselves. The elites is who I am referring to, and they will utilize that opportunity to usher in a central bank digital currency. So, if we see that and we see the writing on the wall, we need to be plugged into QNT, which will be the network of networks that oversees the ushering in and provides itself and lends itself as the backbone of the new financial infrastructure of the globe and Web3 and CBDCs and Bitcoin, blockchain. Every single asset on Earth will be tokenized in one form or another, and the network of networks is what is going to be at the forefront, ladies and gentlemen. But how true are the assertions that the introduction of a digital pound would allow the government undue oversight and control of people's personal finances? Dialogue around the potential issuance of a digital pound has become increasingly alarmist, with suggestions we are on the verge of an Orwellian nightmare in which government officials have an up-close view of what we're buying, along with an ability to freeze the money in our bank accounts on a whim. That is exactly what they will be doing, ladies and gentlemen, and it is a very scary thought and premise. The BOE, or Bank of England, proposes to address the privacy point via the use of anonymized core ledger, via which high street banks and other approved firms could then provide a customer-facing interface. End users would interact with the digital pounds and the wallets provided by their normal bank, rather than directly with the central bank. As described above, CBDCs can indeed be programmed to behave in a certain way. However, it is illogical to suggest that the Bank of England would program its currency in a way that could impact stability and fungibility. If constraints were put on how and when a CBDC could be spent, it would impact its value and open the door to arbitrage of the digital pound. Now, ladies and gentlemen, Martin Hargreaves, Chief Executive Officer of Quant Network, makes an excellent point here. If there are bad actors and evil forces that are going to utilize these central bank digital currencies as a means of power and control over the masses to usher in a higher extreme of a surveillance state, which we know they will do, I am telling you that as an official Quantstradamus prediction, they will do that. We will also have, in the private sector, other businesses and corporations that want to work hand in hand with the people from a security and privacy standpoint, and they will provide a better service that we will be able to utilize. It is the way of the world, good versus evil, yin and yang. One cannot exist without the other. So, if we see these central bank digital currencies when they are ushered in and they start putting the full-on blitz on the people and the people are starting to get their assets shut off that may have an opinion or a viewpoint that may be deemed unacceptable by the establishment, then we will have these private sector businesses and good actors, quote unquote, that we can turn to. But you can never trust the government, ladies and gentlemen. And that is what Hargreaves is beating around the bush about. Also, taking a stance that he can help to lend a hand. Him and his team, Gilbert Verdian and the executives over at Quant Network, can lend a direct hand in helping to guide governments to make the proper decisions in their own jurisdictions and regions and countries throughout the world. 19 of the G20 nations are now piloting CBDC projects, which means governments rightly need to consult on public concerns as part of broader discussion of the potential benefits of this type of money. The idea for a retail CBDC is a response to the declining use of cash and the corresponding rise in electronic payments. All central banks have an inherent responsibility to make central bank money useful and accessible to citizens, and it can be argued that cash alone is now struggling to fulfill this mandate. Now, this is something that is very important. Fiat is quickly going by the wayside. These people, these banks, the big financial institutions, and many of us know that tokenization and digitization of assets are the clear-cut future. There is no denying that at this point. And Hargreaves is going to bring it to everyone's attention via this article. And as Quant Network progresses during its lifespan and sees itself ushered in at the forefront as a network of networks, we will begin to see fiat become less of an impactful form of currency, and CBDCs and Bitcoin will be at the forefront at that point in time. CBDCs could usher in a range of benefits in terms of efficiency and transparency. A digital pound could enable citizens and businesses to automate cumbersome payments and processes and implement logic into money. For example, consumers could use smart new contract functionality within CBDCs to automatically issue payment after the delivery of goods or services, a sort of digital escrow without the middleman. This feature would help people avoid the returns process and retain access to their money. Merchants could see payments cleared and settled faster, prevent chargebacks, and gain a more accurate view of their accounts and stock. CBDC programmability could be extended even further. Payments could be graduated with automated triggers and built-in discounts and incentives to encourage better service delivery or performance. There are many pros as well as dastardly cons. As I said, you need to have that counterbalance. It is a balancing act of which is better. Can we bring more pros than cons to the table as we bring in this new digital asset revolution? At a macro level, CBDCs could equip central banks with new tools to significantly help soften the impact of forthcoming financial crises, given they would provide a real-time view of risks and currency outflows. The elephant in the room, for those of us who believe retail CBDCs should be broadly welcomed, is China's menacingly enthusiastic push of its digital yuan. This has been newly reinvigorated by the Lunar New Year holiday season, in which hundreds of government-backed events celebrating the digital yuan have taken place. Now, that is a harrowing and very concerning thought. China is rushing along their CBDCs and very, very far ahead in the process, much further ahead than the United States or Europe for that matter. And it is for the exact reason I mentioned earlier in the video, just moments ago. It is about authoritarian and surveillance control over the masses. And that's what we need to be very concerned with moving forward as private citizens. More state control is certainly a major driver for Beijing in popularizing its CBDC, allowing for the monitoring of citizens and the systems used by businesses. However, the slippery slope fallacy comes when people argue that the same would happen in the UK. This line of argument ignores the fact that this is a matter of where a nation sits politically on the spectrum from libertarian to authoritarian, rather than any factor inherent to CBDCs. To use his own words, slippery slope. It is a slippery slope to begin the CBDC process and roll that out on the population, because the people that are controlling the levers and implementing these CBDCs are going to utilize it for evil and not for good, for more control, not less control. That is just the way of the world. That is the inherent nature of mankind. Do not get it twisted. There is a lot of technology that could be used to control populations in the West that simply isn't yada yada yada. This is where Hargreaves kind of loses me a little bit. It is also worth pointing out that government agencies already have widespread and important powers to track and freeze funds when nefarious activity is suspected. Again, monetary system control is a policy matter, rather than being inherent to a type of currency. CBDC supporters like me are quick to remind opponents that the underlying infrastructure can be set up in a way that limits authoritarian controls, surveillance, and protects consumer privacy through public-private collaboration and partnership. As I touched on earlier, before it was even brought up here, public-private collaboration. The public needs to have an outcry, what they are willing to accept and what they are not. But the United States government and governments around the world are growing increasingly more incredibly well equipped at disarming the populace without them even knowing it, and making them let their guard down, and keeping the people from fighting back from these measures that they implement and new tools and regulations that they put into place. They are slowly chipping away at your rights over time. It's what governments have done since the dawn of time. The launch of Bank of England's consultation on the concept of a digital pound is a chance to set the record straight and return to a more realistic conversation about what this new form of currency might mean. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a lot to unpack. But to summarize, CBDCs are coming down the pipeline with the direct help of Quant Network. QNT will be the absolute focal point of CBDC implementation. Without it, CBDCs will not succeed, and the globalists and elitists of this world have too much at stake. They want complete financial control, so CBDCs will come down the pipeline. So you either get on board with Quant Network now, or you get left behind. Ladies and gentlemen, do not get left behind. Quantradamus is here. He's ready. He's telling you, he's ready to shepherd the flock. You just need to let him. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. This has been another feature presentation by MF Crypto, aka Quantradamus, aka The Wife Changer, aka Secretariat, the #1 source for all your crypto needs. I'll see you next episode. Cheers.
If the lion is the king of the jungle, how can he be the king of the jungle? If he's not the biggest, the elephant is probably one of the biggest. He can't be the fastest because that's a cheetah. He can't be the smartest. So he's not the biggest, the fastest, or the smartest. So how does a lion become the king of the jungle? His mentality. That's the only difference of a lion and an elephant. When a lion walks up and sees an elephant, he thinks lunch. An elephant thinks run. And it's all mentality. Because when a male lion walks up, he may be outnumbered by a pack of hyenas, but I'm king of my jungle because of my mentality.
What happens when you're a gazelle and you're not being pushed, you're not being prodded, you're not given a reward, nobody's encouraging you? What happens when you're a gazelle and the lion's not chasing you anymore? You stop running. But what happens when you're a lion? When you're a lion, it does not make a difference. You realize that if your family is going to eat, that if that pack of lions is to survive, then you gotta go hunt. A part of being a beast just ain't eating a gazelle. A part of being a beast is the hunts. It's the hunt that they're excited about. They like to see the gazelles run. Then boom, they take off. Because real lions like to hunt. They love the process just as much as they love the prize. And some of y'all just want to score. You don't like the process. You're not in love with the process.
A true hunter's goal is not the prize. A true hunter's goal is to hunt. That's what they live for. They live to hunt. They don't just live to catch it. It's the whole process. When you are a true hunter, you don't go by time, you go by the gazelle. When you are a true hunter, you hunt until you get a gazelle, and you don't stop until you get one. And then you get another, and then you get another, and you get another. If you're gonna do what you say you're gonna do, be what you say you're gonna be, you're gonna have to lion me out. You a gazelle, you gonna come up short. You a gazelle, you gonna have an average experience. You a student, I need you in lion mode. You an entrepreneur, I need you in lion mode. You trying to lose weight, lion mode. You can't do nothing significant in gazelle mode, nothing. Nothing impressive happens in gazelle mode. Nothing happens in run mode, give up mode, quit mode, scared mode, fearful mode, nothing happens. Everything happens in lion mode like I'm coming to get you.